So, may we start?
Time to start.
One, two, three, four.
Welcome back to the shack.
Welcome
Jim.
back. It's Jim.
And the other one, who is?
I'm Danny. I'm Danny last name.
It's Shack Out Back, your bi-weekly podcast about random shit that we decide to talk about.
Yep.
Follow us on Twitter, like us on YouTube, do all that fucking garbage.
Like us on YouTube, comment on the videos, retweet the videos.
Ding the bell, or whatever the fuck the other thing is.
I like all the old videos on YouTube where the subscribe button was up top of them and stuff, and they'd motion up top, and now it's just not there anymore.
You can see OG YouTube. It's called Crunchyroll with the web browser.
Yeah, it's true.
This week, it's Dan's pick. What are we talking about, Dan?
We're talking about the 2021 movie Annette with Adam Driver, and it's a movie on Amazon Prime Video.
Is that the only place it was released on?
No, I don't believe so. I don't think so. I think it just came onto Amazon Prime Video. It was like a small release type of thing, I believe.
This is a movie that doesn't strike me as having a theatrical release.
Yeah, I can see that.
As we always start the week, it's the bi-weekly breakdown. Well, the bi-3-week breakdown, because we recorded early with Brandon.
Super early, and now this is pretty late, so yeah.
How do you feel about that episode we did with Brandon, Dan?
It was good. I like talking about Deep Rock, and we're getting closer and closer to the big, huge update. And I've been playing a lot. I've been playing a lot just myself and stuff, and with random people, which I don't usually do, but I've just been craving
I started playing with randoms too, yeah.
Yeah, I've been craving it.
Listeners don't know, that was a bit of a nightmare for me to edit because there was technical issues, but I think the episode turned out really, really well. I like listening to it a lot.
Yes.
Yeah, I'd like to have another end of the year thing where we have Brandon and Patrick back and we talk
100%.
about shit. We can't have our caveat for our game of the year has to be game of the year caveat, not Deep Rock Galactic.
Okay, specifically not that one. Okay.
But as always, what were you up to the last 2 weeks, Dan?
What has Danny been up to? I've been playing a lot of video games. I finished I finished Prey for the third time, I think. And then that was fucking insanely fun. I just raced through the end of that game. I love playing the end of that game. Then me and you and Cassie's brother got together and we played some board games, which was nice. We played Blood Rage, which I'd never play and you'd never play, and it showed.
No, it was fun.
Very fun.
Dan got 48, I got 45, and Cassie's brother got 154 at the end.
So yeah, it was a close game, very close.
Yeah, a close game.
And we played Clank after that, and that's a fantastic game to get you into board games, and it holds up very well. Even if you play other board games.
Yeah. Even, most of the time, if you were ever over and we play a board game, we still have time left, I'm like, let's just play Clank, because Clank's fun as fuck.
Yeah, it's hella good. I'm hoping to get some of the expansions and stuff around Christmas. Other than that, me and Cass finished Squid Game. Very cool show,
What is that? Is that basically just an elimination,
It's like a battle royale,
show,
death battle type of thing with a bunch of... At the start, they don't know what they're getting into, but very quickly they come back and do know what they're getting into. Hard to touch on and stuff right now.
Just because it's spoilery.
Cassie just ran up and pointed a bunch at my graphics card. I don't know why, really. I think she wants me to talk about it.
Talk about your graphics card.
That's the last thing I'm talking about, Cassie. Okay, watch Squid Game. Everyone knows. Yeah, you've seen it everywhere.
Dan shot a sexy Instagram picture that he showed me last night with him and his graphics card. Not him and his girlfriend, but him and his graphics card.
Yeah, so I'm sitting at work yesterday, and I have a bunch of buddies that work at Memory Express. It's a local, I think it's around all of Canada, but I don't really know if it's in the States. But he calls me and he's like, hey, I just got a 3070. It's on hold for you. And it's a message and my heart starts to race. I'm like, oh God. I was like, holy shit. It's a lot of money, but I was like, it's a really good price for one right now.
He took a fire hose. He blasted all the drug addicts out of Storage Mart and he hopped on his bicycle and he raced over.
So yeah, I was all day, I was working it out in my head, how it would work payment wise, how it would work, how I would pay for it, what's going on with that. Cause it's they had financing. So that was another thing. But yeah, I raced there. I went home, ate some food, measured my case to make sure it would fit, measured that, double checked everything, and then raced there, filled out an application. So I did financing, and then I'm just going to pay it off far early through the financing. But yeah, I'm sitting beside, let me pick it up. I'm sitting beside,
the brick.
It is heavy. It is very, very heavy. So it is a An EVGA For the Win 3 Ultra Edition 3070. That's the full name, Jim. Isn't that a gamer name?
That's a very gamer name.
It's
I was going to say,
name.
yeah.
But also, thankfully, this is one of the top-rated 3070s. It's usually first on people's lists or second just because of the fantastic fan and cooling system and also base clock speed. So I'm installing that tomorrow, so by the time this goes up, I will have had it for probably a week and a half, and I am going to get a new monitor in the new year. And I am very excited.
This goes up on Monday.
Oh, true. I'll have it for one day.
What was I going to say?
What have you been up to, Jim? Are you going to surprise me and say you got a 3070?
When I got my graphics card, I got the RX 580, which is still a really good deal. Like, if you just want to get into light PC gaming, I'd say grab one of those. They're twice the price now, but they're still, like, really good, like, performance per price. And I got the loudest card I possibly could, which is awful for editing Shack Out Back, because you could hear it in the background going all the time. But bi-weekly breakdown wise, what have I been up to? Let me pull up my list, because I actually take notes, because I'm a little nerd. I played all of Metro Exodus. It was very good game.
That's the newest one, correct? They haven't released one since.
No. Well, it was only released 2 years ago.
Yeah. I'm excited that, like, there's so many games that I just have been waiting to buy because I knew I was getting a new graphics card, and that's on my wish list.
I want to get a new board and CPU and memory stuff too, but I'm not going to get a new graphics card. That's the only thing that's holding me back. Is Metro Exodus I played on high at 1080p, and I got like between like 45, 60 the whole time, so it ran pretty good. But like, yeah, just the memory's really throttling.
Well, aren't you're running the CPU and stuff that I gave you, right? Like it's an i5 4690K or something.
Yeah,
so it is older. Getting a new CPU would fucking skyrocket that build. Like, CPUs affect FPS gain and everything so much more than people think.
Yeah. We both played the demo to Fallen Aces.
Yes, we did. Oh yeah, that was this week. Fallen Aces, new game by New Blood Interactive. I don't know the exact developer's name who actually makes it, but New Blood's publishing it. Trey Powell. It's so good. Name. It is so good. Fallen
Aces, I think it's a little easy right now. The demo is like I played on hard the whole time, and you really don't have a chance of dying. Well, there's no enemies. There's only one enemy that has a gun. So when we actually play the game, it'll get like much harder. I'm excited for that. I watched VHS 94, which is the new VHS movie, and it was really good. Half of it was really good. The other half was kind of crappy, but it was good. Have you ever seen a VHS movie, Dan? I think I may have wanted to watch VHS 2.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. I think so.
The VHS 2, I think, is still the best one. VHS 94 was pretty good. It's better than VHS Viral. That movie sucked. I watched It 2, and it sucked. It sucked bad. It was not a good movie.
Yeah, Chapter 2 is just strictly worse than the first one. I don't even think it's overall that great of a movie. I think they rely a lot on flashbacks, and the running time is way too long, in my opinion.
It was 2 hours and 20 minutes. And so it was that long, but I still felt they hadn't explained a lot. Like, it felt like a movie they didn't know what to do with the time it had.
Yeah.
And it was too much CGI, and, like, Pennywise died like a bitch and all this stuff. It was just, like, not good.
There's a new one in 27 years or whatever the fuck it is.
Yeah, just going another quarter of a century. I've been watching Only Murders in the Building with my new roommates.
Only Murders in the Building? I don't know.
Stars Steve Martin and Selena Gomez. It's really good. It's a show that's coming out on Disney+. It made me laugh a lot. It's really fun. Yeah, it's a great show. It feels like a show that's like old, like from the 90s or something. It's really nice. I watched The Mandalorian Season 2, which is really good. I'm sure Brandon has a lot of opinions on that. He's a little hard-on man for Star Wars, but I enjoyed it a lot. I started watching Twin Peaks with my roommate, and Twin Peaks is like fucking strange. I thought it would be like more of a lead-in to the David Lynchness of the whole thing, but no, it's just weird right off the bat. It's pretty good so far.
Yeah.
I've only watched the first like 2 episodes or something.
Did they remake Twin Peaks?
No, they had it cut. They made a new season of it, basically.
Oh.
Yeah, they continued it on.
Oh, really? That's interesting.
Yeah, but I think that's it for the bi-weekly breakdown. So, yeah, a lot of interesting stuff going on this week. I moved the last 2 weeks, so if things sound a bit better, a bit different, that's why.
Jim's isn't in the basement with the furnace going on and with people stepping above him. Now he's on the top floor.
Now I'm the one stepping on all the peons below me.
True.
But no, it should be a bit better recording-wise. I won't have garlic bread thrust upon me when I'm talking about Holocaust books.
Yeah.
But, let's get on to the topic this week, which is Annette. Starring Adam Driver and others. The guy from Wolowitz from fucking
he has
Big
a
Bang
name,
Theory.
Jim. His name's Simon
doesn't.
Helberg.
No, he doesn't have a name. He's from Big Bang Theory. He doesn't deserve a name.
This movie stars Adam Driver, mostly by far, but it also stars Marion Cotillard.
And she is a big actress. She was in
Is she?
Dark Knight Rises. She played Liam Neeson's daughter in that. And she's in other stuff too. That's just where I know her from off the top of my hat. But yeah, explain to the audience what Annette is about.
Okay, so Annette is about... This is a hard one. This is not.
Do what I did for Eraserhead and Wolf House. Just say what the plot is about.
Adam Driver and his wife Anne have a baby, and then the baby can sing beautifully. But Adam Driver is a piece of shit, so he tries to use the baby to sing around the world, and everybody loves each other so much. But then it all goes to shit really quickly. Well, it all goes to shit really, really quickly.
Why did you watch this movie in the first place? Like, what made you stop on Amazon Prime and be like, shit, I'm gonna watch that?
Okay, so I listened to another podcast. I listened to Super Eye Patch Wolf's podcast. Let's Fight a Boss. Yeah, so I listened to Let's Fight a Boss. The girl on Let's Fight a Boss, I'm drawing a blank to her name. Let me just look it up. But they're a Dublin-based group of like animators and video game people and stuff.
Yeah, they're all from Ireland, aren't they?
Yeah. So I believe her name is Nia. Fuck, I'm stupid because I'm like.
You said that because I watched a little bit of the Super iPad of Let's Fight a Boss. It wasn't to my taste, but it was definitely like interesting.
Nimah. Nima.
Is that her name?
I guess. Nima.
What about the other guy on the podcast? What's his name?
John is Super Eye Patch Wolf, and then Brian, I believe, is the other one.
What's he from?
I actually don't know. I'm sure he does stuff, but I don't think he makes YouTube videos or anything.
This is one of the few podcasts you listen to, because Danny doesn't really listen to podcasts, if I remember. You'd like find one, you listen to it for a long time, then you stop and you go to the next one.
Yeah, I listen to only the finest. I only listen to Oni Plays podcast, Sleepy Cabin from years ago, Sleepycast. That's one of the best podcasts I've ever listened to. Its topics are truly abhorrent, though. Don't listen to it if you
have a weak constitution.
Yeah, it's so fucking good. I re-listen to those. I wish they will do another episode one day. But anyways, this movie's not a movie I would normally pick. This is a very Jim movie to watch, minus the musicals, because this is a musical, a big part. I didn't know that going into it, really.
It is a musical.
It's a musical.
There's barely any lines that aren't sung.
Oh, they talk all the time. So, yeah, halfway through this musical, Jim turns to me and he goes, "Dan, did I tell you I don't like musicals?" I said, "Interesting. Well, that's going to hinder your opinion then."
Yeah, I have a lot of friends who are into stage acting.
Yeah.
Or I did. I still have some, but every time I go see one of their musicals, only once. Yeah, this is a little Jim story. So, I've liked every show that I've seen, mostly. There's only a couple I didn't like. My friend's in a musical, I go see it, and I'm like, I don't like this at the beginning, but by the end, they win me over. I went and saw a play, because I was talking to this girl, and she was in it, and it was about the guy who did Pinball Wizard, I think. It was like a play about a band.
Yeah. And
the guy in the band was mute for the first, 19 years of his life or something.
Okay.
But, they have this band, right, that has a bunch of music, but they only play 3 songs over and over again. I don't remember the fuck the play was called, but I went there drunk. Okay. I remember because I was day drinking, and then I drank during the play, and I had to leave and continue to drink after. This was a long time ago. And even in my inebriated state, I remember I was like, fuck, this show sucks.
They're listening to that play. They're listening to this podcast right now, furious. They're foaming at the mouth.
I fucking doubt it. I think I have a trepidation about musicals, because musicals are always so fucking long, and this movie in particular. How long is this movie?
I was gonna segue from the movie you were talking about. It Chapter 2 is 2.5 hours. This is 2.
Here's the thing about It Chapter 2. It was bad. It wasn't good. Didn't feel like 2.5 hours. This felt like 3.5 hours.
Jim hated it. I loved it.
I don't know if I have a totally bad opinion of this movie. Would I watch it again? No, but there are definitely parts of it that I enjoyed.
Well, I've watched it twice, and I know all the deep lore for Annette. But before we get into it, I wanted to talk about the ratings for this movie, because it's another one of those movies that you can tell how people feel about it. It has got a bunch of 5-star and a bunch of 1-star and nothing in the middle.
It felt like one of those movies where someone coming from Star Wars would be like, I love Adam Driver, and come and watch this movie about a fucking gross-looking marionette dancing around and be like weirded out by it.
Yeah,
and
Jim,
I don't blame them.
So the baby in this movie, this is the only part that's completely different. The baby in this movie is just a marionette doll for like 99% of the thing, like a big wooden doll that like looks around and stuff. And Jim kept going, oh, look at it, it's disgusting.
I also, when I was a little kid, I hated puppets. I was terrified of puppets. Did I ever tell you that?
No, why were you so scared of puppets?
I don't know, but I think that's carried. I like puppets now. Puppets are fine. I think that's why I like
Chucky?
No. What's that YouTube show with all the
puppets? I know
like,
what you're talking about. The one where it's in the basement or whatever, that lady?
No, the one where it's like all the felt, like,
blue guy. Fucking Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared?
Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared. I think that's why I find that shit so creepy.
Yeah.
Is because, like, I don't like puppets in general, and when they're in, like, an uncanny, like, creepy situation like that, it makes it even worse.
Do you like it when they're around fully grown people and they're holding them like they're a little baby and they sing and they float in the air and spin around?
No, I don't like that. I don't. And that creeped me out more than anything else, I think. Because every time, it was distracting. Every time Annette was in a scene, I'm like, oh, look at that thing. Look at that thing in Adam Driver's arms.
So yeah, baby Annette. Okay, full breakdown. It's spoilers for Annette if you're a big Annette fan. If you're a big Adam Driver
big
fan.
Annette stan.
Big Annette stan. You're an Annette lore connoisseur. So Adam Driver plays a comedian in this movie. He's called, Jim liked him, he's called the Ape of God.
The Ape of God. I love all the one of the things I loved
bananas in every scene in the Ape of God.
It was all the imagery. Yeah, it was very funny.
He's eating bananas and stamping out bananas like cigarettes into the ashtray.
Well, it's like, we're gonna spoil this whole movie.
Yes.
So at the beginning, like, Adam Driver has his baby. And then it like super cuts to like a gorilla holding like a little child or something, I remember. And then at the end, when Annette leaves him in the jail, she throws the monkey doll on the ground. I'm like, ooh, that's cyclical. That's some good stuff. Because wasn't this directed by a French director?
Yes. And this director has done a lot of like fancy French high art films.
Well, I remember when I was sitting there watching the movie with you, I was looking up the director, and it was like a bunch of stuff that I had not ever heard of. Even things that weren't English. Yeah, but he was in the movie too. Like the first little bit,
he was the dude at the start. Yeah.
Well, the first little bit. This is, you brought this up, and I thought it was very apt because I think the only like musical I took you to was, this is another Jim story. Can you tell I don't want to talk about Annette because I keep telling stories?
And that's so good. I'll talk about it.
Dan was like 17 or 16, and I was like 20. This is when we were still working together at the same job. But I was like, Dan, do you want to go to this cabaret with me? Because my ex-girlfriend was in it. And he was like, sure. And I brought him to this cabaret, and it was fucking terrible. That was one of the worst shows I've ever been to, Dan. I'm sorry I took you to that. But I bought him a bunch of beer when he was 16 while we were there, and no one batted an eye. So that was good.
Yeah. Is Jim there? What happened? I can't hear
I'm here.
anymore.
We continue to talk about Annette.
That was your story? That was the end of your big,
story.
Huge story? That's an epic story, Jim. So we watched a bad play. I thought
that's what I wanted to. That's what I wanted to say.
MIA.
I didn't know if you like knew a lot of like stuff about like musicals and stuff. It's always like when there's a musical, usually if it's a happy-go-lucky one, or even if it's not, the cast will come out and do a little dance and say, "This is our show," blah 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 blah, and that's what they did in this movie.
That's what they did at the start. Yeah. So before this movie starts, it's the director speaking directly to the audience, telling them to like not breathe during the entire performance and not look around or use your phones or speak. And that's the only time. Rules. Yeah, that's the only time in the film that it does something like that. But then when the movie starts, it's like a pre-musical segment before the movie starts, and then the movie officially starts. So it's kind of odd. This whole it's a movie, but it wouldn't change anything if you were sitting in a play and saw this.
It's like Taming of the Shrew. It's like a show within a show.
Yeah.
It's like, at the beginning of Taming the Shrew, the actors are like, we're going to put on a show for this unruly guest out here. Yeah. And they put it on, so it's kind of like that. It's kind of meta.
It's very, very meta, if you will. Yeah, so Adam Driver is the Ape of God, and he is a comedian that has made a career just being a piece of shit, just telling horrible jokes and stuff.
I really like that, too. I really like that, like, because I think I talked about this on a Shack Out Back, but I spent a lot of time watching stand-up.
Yeah.
And that's a thing, because, like, a lot of stand-up comedians have, like, a gimmick, Like, I remember there's this guy called, like, Ron White or something like that, who just, like, goes out with a cigar and a glass of scotch and tells jokes. Or Bert Kirshner takes his shirt off or whatever.
Yeah.
And the ape of God comes out in a fucking bathrobe.
Because, yeah, he's in the bathrobe and the cloud of smoke, yes, and he swirls the microphone around and shit and lays on the ground and does weird stuff. So, yeah, Adam Driver's that, and he just tells shitty jokes to people. He just tells mean, shitty jokes.
Well, it's not like... I don't think it's, like, supposed to be funny. I think it's supposed to be another... Here's the thing about this movie. I think... Part of the reason why I don't like aspects of it is it's very up its own ass. Like, it's kind of pretentious in a kind of bad way. Like, these jokes aren't supposed to be funny. It's supposed to be, like, how... That scene, the first scene where he's telling jokes and stuff, is how the audience is reacting to them. Both of them, when he has those big scenes where he tells jokes, are about how the audience, like, in the show, like, respond to him.
Yeah,
he says whatever, and they're laughing. And then when he comes back and he loses his career or whatever, he tells a joke about how... he wants to kill his wife or something.
Yes, he sends a monologue that's like 6 minutes long about how he murdered his wife and then came and did the show. And then people are going, man, this is not funny. That's sick. And then he just turns singing. On the song about laughing.
They sing and Adam Driver's like, fuck you. Yeah, he's like, get off the stage. The stage.
I think that's one of my favorite scenes in this show is when he tells that monologue about murdering his wife by tickling her to death. And then he starts to sing the song from the first time around where he's going, why did I become a comedian? For the money? For the money? And they all just start booing him. So he runs off the stage. And then as they're singing, he runs back. And he's just at the top of his lungs, screaming and telling everyone to go fuck themselves.
He's not a very stable character, which got that across.
Yeah,
well, his wife...
Loony. His wife is an opera singer, a beautiful opera singer.
Yeah, because his name and Adam Driver's name in the movie is Henry
McHenry.
Henry McHenry, yeah, and then her name is Anne.
Differenu.
The scenes I like the most in this movie is when because they show their careers going at the same time, where she's like an opera singer, she's getting more popular, and he's a crappy comedian who's getting less popular. And there's a scene where like she's doing opera on the stage, and she like walks to the back of the stage and it turns to a forest while she's singing opera and stuff.
Very beautiful set design.
That was very beautiful scene.
Yeah. So yeah, she's an opera singer, and then they get together, and the movie progresses very quickly in the little bit before, but they get together and then they have a child basically. Then Adam Driver kind of has a little scene where he's talking. Henry McHenry is when he's talking about like she's at the opera doing her career and I'm just babysitting the child, and he's having nightmares about like killing the kid and sitting on it, and like he's freaking out in bed, not being able to get sleep and stuff. Long story short, their marriage is going down the shit pipe, and he's telling stories about how he's just murdered his wife, and everyone's like, bro, are you being serious? And he never gives an answer.
The thing about stand-up comedians too is that they make up stories about their family and stuff, and that's like a story he made up. It's like a weird story that's kind of
it's just bizarre.
It's telling you what he's actually thinking about as his wife being dead and stuff. And there's like I think a big other problem with this movie for me was the pacing, because the first hour feels very long.
I could see
it's like
that.
them meeting, and they have little interludes, because they have interludes every once in a while where it's like showbiz news. They have like a little newscast about like Henryson and Anne are together doing this or that. It's telling you what stage the characters are
This
at
is the next area of the play, and they wipe across the thing and get the new set set up, because it just transition into whole new sets after that.
Yeah. But there's a scene where, like, Anne is in a car, and she's being driven between shows, I think. And there's, like, a newscast that's like, they're talking about Henry McHenryson, and they're like, there's 6 women who are like, he did this and that, and it's like, they all have similar stories. It's like a Me Too moment.
We are 6 women who all have similar stories.
Yes, and I feel like that wasn't dealt with very well. Like, it was just like... because in that part, like, you don't know if it's a dream or not, because she kind of like wakes up in the car and you don't know if it's like her hallucinating that and thinking the worst of him or something. But yeah, it was weird. It was a weird choice to include that.
Hard choice, Jim says. Long story short, they're on a boat. Annette falls off because Adam Driver's character is drunk on the deck and swinging her around and shit. He doesn't do it on purpose. At least not to our knowledge, maybe?
Well, subconsciously he does.
Maybe, yeah. He's definitely distraught by it, but in the end, I don't think he really cared too much.
An important part of this, too, is that, like, Annette is on the boat with them.
She sees it.
She sees, like... another shot of like her mother like going down into the drink. It's so funny. We were both laughing at the scene too when they're like on the top dancing and Adam Driver's so drunk because you see the waves in the background. There's no fucking sky. It's literally just waves that are 6 times taller than the boat crashing into it.
They're literally like, there's waves that are as big as skyscrapers and they're just sitting in this little tiny yacht. I love that shot.
I kind of like that this movie gave up the pretenses of being a movie and wanted to be more of a play and just like that was clearly like a set, like a very clear, like it looked like a car on Seinfeld, but they're just sitting in there like with a green screen in the background, like turning the wheel a little bit. That's
I can feel that. So Adam Driver's wife is now dead, Anne is now dead, and baby Annette saw it, even though she's a little tiny baby.
And the wife comes to him in his dreams and says that she's gonna fucking haunt him.
She's like a sea hag now. She's got like long green weird hair and shit, and she looks monstrous. And she's haunting him from the grave. So then they escape the boat, and they get onto a little like plateau, little island type of thing. And then little baby Annette, she's like just a little toddler, not even that. She just like sits up and she starts singing in Anne's voice while she's looking at the stars. So then Adam Driver's like, I'm going insane. My baby isn't singing. So they discover that baby Annette can sing in Anne's voice, and it's like beautiful, and she only does it when there's like constellations on the walls from lamps.
There was like a scene where they get back and the police are questioning. This is funny too. The police are questioning him.
Song.
How does it go? Because I don't remember the music in this show. It's
which one is that one?
The one where he's being interrogated for the first time.
Oh my god, let me see. Okay, give me one sec. I want to listen to it, Jim.
He's gonna pull it up. He's gonna pull it up live on Shack Out Back in the background and listen to it. I'm gonna have to cut it out in the background because it's gonna leak out of his headphones.
I just love it. We're gonna get copyright struck by Annette.
Stop
police
that!
station
I'm gonna have
clip.
to edit around it, brother.
Just add in other songs. So it's the police, and it's like the whole police squad questioning him at the desk, and it's like 1 minute long, and then at the end they're just like, okay, you're not suspected, and he just leaves. He just walks out and leaves the police station.
Well, he buys the
the little spinning light constellation thing, and he puts it in Annette's room.
Yeah, that's like the catalyst for the second half of the movie is that like he puts that up and it's like a starry night, right? Like it was.
Yeah, it's like it was when Anne died. So then he's like, holy shit, my baby can actually sing. And then they get Wallowitz. They get he's the accompanist, and then he's the conductor because he has the song I Am an Accompanist.
He says that he had an affair with Anne
too
before she met Henry McHenryson.
Yes.
Henry convinces all these people like get with him together and they do a baby Annette show where they bring her like around the world. And it's very quickly that they go to like one show and then in China and Japan and Europe and all these different places there's like pictures of baby Annette's fucking gross marionette face.
We love Annette, and everyone in the world is obsessed with baby Annette, and she walks out in her little marionette puppet form and like spins around the room and gets hoisted up 80 feet and spins around and dances and sings and shit. The movie is definitely a representation of child exploitation. Like Wallowitz, I shouldn't call him Wallowitz, it's fucked.
Wallowitz?
I shouldn't call him that. Simon Helberg's character. He is an actor, and I respect him for doing these movies.
No, he's the only one. I know that, what's her name? Kaylee
Kuko or whatever?
Penny. Yeah, she's done other stuff, but, like, I think that he's the only one who I've seen in, like, real movies and real shows.
Does, like, real shit. He must enjoy it. That's nice. I like that. Oh, he says, he's like, this is exploitation. No, it's not. I assure you, it's not exploitation. And he's like, this is literally exploitation. And it's almost not a song. He's just like, I quite assure you, this is exploitation.
He's like another tragic character, similar to Anne. He was in love with Anne, and then he sees Annette, and then he thinks Annette might be his daughter.
Yes.
And then he's like, he teaches her the song that Annette sang for Henry at the beginning of the play.
We love each other so much. That was that song, and then
and then Adam Driver kills him too because he's like, I don't know, exploiting. He's like teaching Annette. He just reminds him of Anne, I think.
Well, yeah, he pissed him off because it started out where Adam Driver's character was like, you had no right to tell her that song, and then he just goes on and he's like, I think she might be my child. I really actually do. Me and Anne had an affair. And then he's like, you can tell it's coming. He's like, come and talk to me by the pool, right beside the pool.
It takes like 2 minutes to fucking drown him too. It's egregious.
Yeah, it's kind of disturbing. He's got him in the pool and he's like, please don't do this. You're not this cold-hearted. And he just punches him in the head a bunch of times until he drowns.
And then the last part of the movie is like, they go to like the Super Bowl, the fake Super Bowl. And this is probably the funniest
They
part
go
of
to
the
the
movie,
Hyper Bowl, Jim.
where they try to have a Super Bowl halftime show with Annette, and then there's a dude who's announcing, and then he's a very like clean cut man. He's saying like, "Give it up for baby Annette," and then they try to start the music, and it doesn't happen.
She just doesn't
and they
sing.
do it 2 more times, and then the guy's like, "Hold on, baby Annette is a baby after all. Just give her some time." And then he puts the microphone down. And he's like, "What is this little bitch doing?"
She goes, "What the fuck is this little bitch doing?" And Adam Driver starts to laugh and shit.
That's the climax of the movie. Because
Yes.
she literally just says at the Super Bowl halftime, "Daddy kills people." And that's the first time she's talked.
Yes, and then it just fades out, and he's in cuffs now, and people are making a musical about how he's going to jail.
And he does that. We already talked about end of the movie a little bit. He basically loses everything, goes to jail.
Oh yeah.
The ghost of Annette or ghost of Anne comes and sees him and says "fuck you," and then Annette finally leaves him and he's left in jail and the movie ends.
Well, yeah, the big thing was that Annette came to see him, and then I take it in his mind as Annette being a person now and not
Yes.
being an
object.
a toy, an object for him
Yes.
to use, because she's a real little kid at the end, like an actual
Yeah.
bona fide child.
And actually, like a really for like how young that actress was.
Yeah,
she's
she's
just like 5
competent.
or 6, and she was pretty good.
Cassie pointed out, she was like, "Do you think this kid has any clue what she's saying, or do you think it's more so just like, hear the script, just read it, you don't need to understand the motives?"
That's okay.
But yeah, that's perfectly fine. She's a little tiny babby. She won't remember this in 1 week.
But I think I want to talk about the problems I had with this movie, like the major
Speak,
ones.
Jim. Tell me why you hate musicals, why you hate every musical ever.
I think that sometimes a musical kind of leans on the music instead of having a good plot and good characters. Because, like, you think of something like Pirates of Penzance or something like that, or me and Dan went and saw some plays that our friend did at a local theater too, and like the Lazy Chaperone, the Sleepy Chaperone, whatever the heck that was, and there's not really like very complex characters in popular musicals.
Yeah.
And I would say I would kind of level that same kind of detriment to this film too, just because like the plot in this movie is very cookie cutter.
It's standard.
And it's very like Hollywoody. That's why I kind of didn't like it, because I don't like when a movie's just about like show business for no reason, or like they don't have anything complicated or anything extra to say about the situation. That's what I kind of felt about this movie. It was just like presented in a kind of quirky way, but it's a movie that I've seen like 800 times.
Yeah.
Also, the music isn't good.
Oh, shut up, Jim. The music is good.
Lyrically, it's just half of the songs is just them talking to one another. And it's just like, why the fuck aren't they talking instead?
I want my general daily life to be people singing to me like that.
I will say that some of the parts stand out as like really funny or interesting, like when she's singing opera on the stage and like transition stuff, like that's cool. Mm-hmm. Or that scene with him and the cops when they're interrogating him after his wife drowns. That's really, really funny.
I will say I kind of wanted it to be more big, fun musicals. It's hard to do with this type of story, but like those police things were like, they were odd. They were like very funny for what they were, because it was very serious, but it was also over in 2 minutes. And
I feel like this movie was really like tonally confused. Like it had a lot.
I can see that. It
had a like levity in weird places, and it was kind of like too dour sometimes, then too like exciting and happy other times. It was I don't know, it was written weirdly. I don't know. There's just something about this movie that just like rubs me the wrong way. Why do you like it so much?
I don't know why. I've been thinking about it a lot. I don't know why I liked it.
It's very interesting, yeah.
It's interesting. I like the music and I like how weird it is. I just like weird shit like this.
I don't regret seeing it, but it's just like,
Jim, what are some other musicals you've watched?
I like, here's the thing, is that I don't try to watch them, because like I like old musicals. Like I like
How to Paint Your Wagon.
No, I like the Road 2 movies with Bob Hope. I like those a lot. I like Singing in the Rain. I like different shit like that. I like Sound of Music. I like classical Hollywood musicals because they're pre 1970s. They're supposed to be like fun and stupid, and I kind of like that. But I'm trying to think of like modern ones I like.
Have you watched Rocket Man?
No.
That's supposed to be
that's all singing too, right? I didn't expect that. I like campy ones too. Like I like Little Shop of Horrors. Have you ever seen Little Shop of Horrors with Rick Moranis?
That's the one with the big plant, right?
With Audrey too.
Yeah.
Yes. With the huge puppet. I love that movie. I like trying them, but I think the one that I would say that like I didn't like but I liked because it's really funny was Les Mis. Did you see the new like version of Les Mis?
I have no... maybe I did in high school. Maybe they made me watch it in high school. That's the one about all the friggin' French people, right?
Yes. I saw that in theater because my friend Melissa and my friend James wanted to see it. And it's, like, not good. It has a bunch of actors in it who don't know how to sing.
Jim, shut up. I'm pretty sure everyone loves that movie.
No. Like, the guy from Nice Guys, what's his name?
Whenever I think of musicals, I just think of movies that revolve around bands and stuff, and I'm like, that's not the same thing. Like, I like Frank a lot. That's one of my favorite movies ever, but Frank is not
Frank's
a musical.
Amazing. It's
just
about
like
see that's what I like.
A movie that's based around a band.
I like movies about music. I like
I
Inside
can see
Llewyn
that.
Davis. That's a really good movie about music. And a bunch of movies like that, but I don't know if I like musicals. Russell Crowe, that's who I was trying to think of. He dies in Les Mis, and it's the funniest death scene I've ever seen in a film, where he, like, commits suicide. It's supposed to be, like, a serious thing, where he, like, jumps off a pier and lands. But when he lands, he makes the funniest, comedic, dull thwack sound as he hits the cement. He's like... as he hits the cement, it's so fucking funny. And I remember sitting in the fucking theater and laughing and laughing and laughing, and it was packed full of people. There was like 400 people in there.
Everyone's turning around staring at Jim. They now hate him. They think he's a psychopath.
That's happened to me more than once in a movie too.
Yeah, I know. A lot of your stories are like, on the screen there was a bunch of kids that got shot, and I was laughing and laughing and laughing.
I don't know if I told this story on Check Out Back, but when I saw Mother exclamation point, the movie
Yes,
that has
the
made
Christian
me the most
one?
angry. Yes, the one with Javier Bardem and everyone's favorite Jennifer Lawrence. It has a bunch of actors in I like Ed Harris. And when I watched the movie, it was horrible. That's a terrible film. It's just shitty and pretentious. But there's a part, because it's supposed to be like the Bible. I don't care if I spoil this movie for you. Go fuck yourself. It's supposed to be the Bible. And there's the part where they literally tear a baby apart and eat it like it's supposed to be Jesus. And I was howling in the film with laughter.
Jim literally got dragged away off the theaters.
Well, I couldn't leave because my cousin was my ride, and I was stuck there with him, and I was just dying laughing, and everyone was looking at me like an asshole.
Psychopath. That's actually sociopath hours.
I'm trying to think, like, what are your favorite, like, what do you think about Adam Driver in general, and some of the actors in this film?
I think Adam Driver is very unique. I was talking to you about it because he was in the Marine Corps before, correct?
Yeah, we were looking up Adam Driver when we watched this movie, and he was in, like, the Marine Corps. He went to a fancy, like, art school and stuff like that, and I remember, like, the first time I ever saw him was he was an extra in Lincoln, but Lincoln, like, Daniel Day-Lewis actually talks to him and they have a conversation. He's like, he has a few lines. And then after that, he was in, like, huge movies. He was 3 years later. He was in fucking Star Wars.
Yeah, I was saying, very interesting life, it seems like. Like, he was in the Marine Corps, and now he was in Star Wars, and he obviously has big Star Wars money, so it's probably not like he's strapped to do anything. So he's obviously doing this because he... like,
wants to. That's what we talked about with Elijah Wood and
Daniel
Twilight
Radcliffe
Man.
is the same.
These guys who have all this money and they're like, fuck it, I'm gonna do whatever they want. And for good or bad, like, some of the movies they make aren't good, but some of them are like just off the wall crazy, like Guns Akimbo.
Guns Akimbo was off the wall crazy. I didn't enjoy it as much as I thought. I really fucking loved Swiss Army Man. I love Swiss Army Man.
That movie's amazing.
And I really like Jungle. I think Jungle is a crazy good movie we need to watch if you haven't seen it.
But no, I really like Adam Driver, and he was just in a movie that we both saw that we both very enjoyed a lot. It was The Dead Don't Die.
Oh, fuck off. I've blocked that movie out of my mind.
Rarely do I find a film that Dan, like, just utterly despises. You utterly despised that film.
Yeah, it was shit. The Dead Don't Die by Jim Jarmusch was fucking shit.
I don't want to say these things to, like, discourage people from watching musicals either. Just because I don't like the genre doesn't mean that other people shouldn't, because there's a lot of good musicals out there that people enjoy. I just don't think they're for me. Yeah, are there other musicals you really like, Dan?
The Muppets movie from 2011. That's a good one. Other than that, I'm not a big musical chap. Maybe I'll become a musical guy. Maybe I'll start watching a bunch of musicals, and I'll be the guy who loves musicals.
I'll bring Singing in the Rain and The Sound of Music over next time over, and we'll watch that after we play Gloomhaven.
The only Singing in the Rain thing that I know is from Futurama, where Bender spins around and he kicks the water.
Well, the Futurama is almost a musical. I think one of my favorite songs is when they go to Robot Hell. That's an amazing song. Here on level 5 of Robot Hell.
That is a good one.
But any closing thoughts on Annette? This is a bit of a shorter one because
it's okay. I'm loving it. We can talk about what we want to talk about on this episode. Maybe we'll scrap this whole episode and we'll talk about something else.
This will be the. Let's just talk about. Let me look up. I have all my video games beside me now. I have a little shelf of them. Let's talk about Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons right now. What do you think of Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons?
Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons. I don't think I beat it. I played it quite a bit. Maybe I beat it and I just can't remember it. That's the same studio,
the game's an hour and 15 minutes long.
Okay, I beat it then. I think I beat it then. What do they make? Is that the same people that make all those 2-player games now, like A Way Out and It Takes Two and stuff?
Who the fuck made this? The Workshop or something. I don't know who the fuck. Academy of Interactive Arts and Science. I don't know who the fuck made this. It's a good game, though. It was Total Biscuit's favorite game.
Jim, tell me. The next episode is coming out one day after Halloween, so what exactly is your
I think
choice?
we're going to say that the next episode is the 1-year anniversary of Shack Out Back, because I think it's like
I think so.
6 days after or something.
Yeah, I think
We've
so.
been doing this for a year.
That's good.
I know. I think that people should go see Annette if they want to. I think it's like weird enough and interesting enough where if you have an interest in like quirky movies, you should give it a chance, just because I didn't like it. Dan really liked it. So for the spooky Halloween episode, what do you think I should pick, Dan? Because I have an idea, but do you want to watch like a bad movie? Do you want to watch a good movie? Do you want to talk about... I don't really want to talk about a video game.
I want to talk about like campy horror movies or something.
Okay.
I want to watch Critters, the new one.
No, you know what we're going to watch? We're going to watch a Canadian classic.
Okay, what is it?
We're going to watch Ginger Snaps.
I have no clue what that is.
Look
what
up
is
Ginger
that?
Snaps right now. Dan and all the kids at home, you look up Ginger Snaps.
Ginger Snaps, the movie?
Yeah.
She's like a werewolf?
Yeah, it's a movie about womanhood and periods and werewolfism. That's what it's
Fuck yeah.
about.
Are we going to watch Ginger Snaps 2?
I have all of them.
What
We
about
can watch
Ginger
all of them if
Snaps
you-
Back?
There's 3 of them. I think that 2 is pretty good. 3's not that great, but 1's amazing.
Okay, I'm excited.
We
Yeah, we'll watch
can
it.
watch the other 2 if you want.
We
but
probably will.
Everyone just watch Ginger Snaps. It's a good ass film.
Okay,
But I
we're
think
doing
that's
the
it.
very topical new age movie for 2021's Halloween, Ginger Snaps, a movie
How long
from
ago did that movie
2000.
come out? Was it like
2000.
2001?
That's
oh
what it
my
said.
God. They'll have their
21 years too
Discmans. They'll have their Discmans and their first gen iPods.
Fuck
It'll
yeah.
be a good film. But I think that's it for episode 26 of Shack Out Back.
26,
Crazy,
big one. Are you sure it's not 27?
This 25 was Deep Rock, unless you did a secret recording in between. I don't think so.
Huh, maybe I was just thinking. Oh yeah, you are right, episode 25, Deep Rock. Cool.
But we'll give you a little like taste of Halloween action the day after Halloween, ladies and
Fuck
gentlemen.
yes, we will.
As always, follow me at Popeye Barkin. Dan's at the non-decipherable Markle Danny at Markle Danny.
Yeah.
If you want to hear us tweet about garbage, about Dave Austry and his Fallout 76 tips.
Yes.
Yeah, catch us later. I'm going to put Radicus in his new bed. I netted a new wing under the shack, a nice like acoustic wing. And we're going to like bundle up against the acoustic foam for the night.
And I'm
any
gonna
last
sing.
words, Dan?
I'm gonna sing to Jim as I go to bed. I'm gonna sing. We love each other so much. Speak soft when you say it. We love each other so much. And I'm gonna push Jim off of my fairy yacht and go to bed.
Good night, darling.
Goodbye, Jim.
Bye-bye.
Good night, Dan.
Good night, everybody.